What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Professional Opinion Show, episode 10. Just coming off some somber news. Yeah, I know it's exciting. We're almost at episode 12, but some not so exciting news for folks. I think a lot of our listeners in our little community of folks who we spent a lot of time with down in Charleston just lost a good buddy of ours, kind of hot off the press. Not really knowing a whole lot, but yeah, we were just kind of catching up offline about that, and man,
Um,
shit sucks.
yeah, I did. When you said 10, I was like, oh, double digits. But yes. What's wild, dude, is like, and I was having this conversation with multiple people today. But it's funny, man. Like uh, how much we plan and think. I mean, me and you talked earlier today, and I was telling you, my schedule as how things are going to lay out for me, and when we'd be able for us to link up and get this in. And even you were like, man, just listening to like your schedule is like making me like stressed out. And it was a super hectic day.
Dude, yeah.
And then, right in the middle of it, literally in the middle of the day, is when I received the news. My wife called and told me. And uh, for those who don't know, I know Tyler's already heard this. He was part of it. So I I've sold my truck today that I've had like 15 years, and it's funny because I was feeling kind of a way about it because it was just it it's just a truck, but it felt like my son doesn't know anything other than that truck in the driveway, and me in that truck. The truck's older than he is, and so it
Shoot, that's
was
all I know of you as with that truck.
right. And so it kind of felt like a chapter closing, um, and I'm. It's so funny, man, how quickly things can shift in your whole perspective. I would hope that for most people it'd be, it would shake them. Uh, but since I plan everything in a dumpster fire, and things just split up and fly away from time to time, uh, the only part of this deal I had nailed down was the buyer and the location. What I had not nailed down or thought about, even if I'm being totally honest, is like, oh yeah, my wife is going to be at work. My daughter's in another state at college, and my son's in middle school. And all my other buddies have normal jobs. Did you just do that?
Yeah, but it's coming through your AirPods. It switched to your AirPods or something.
Boom. Do you got me?
There you are.
Again, so that's the real life example right there.
Real time.
So, we have these plans, and so I'd planned this out. I'd failed to plan how I was going to get back home. I was driving this vehicle to sell to this guy, and had not even thought like, well, after we do this, next steps, and to include, by the way, and discuss with you, dude, I had to leave everything. That includes the signed title, the money given, all that. Like, so I was just like, can you shove all this in your closet? And he was like, because I sold it to, just because everybody's probably thinking the guy you couldn't give you, the guy I sold it to, he runs a auto body shop or whatever, mechanic. He's working himself, so he does not have. He had 2 cars on the lift when I got there, and 3 clients in the waiting room. So no,
Well, there's that, and
But
that was my first thing. Is like you were selling it to this guy, and then you said, "Well, I'm lucky to get my." You said, "I'll be lucky if I even get there with my truck." So that's why I was like, "Well, he can't hop in your truck and take you back," because
no,
it's
no.
like, what the hell?
In fact, dude,
Uh,
15-year-old truck. I can't go over the. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous vehicle. There's a lot wrong with it. But he's a mechanic, so he was willing to inherit my problems that I didn't know how to fix. Uh, but yeah, as soon as I got there and turned the truck off, I literally turned it off. He stepped outside and he goes, "Oh, hey, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "Hey, can you fire it back up real quick? I just wanted to show my buddy, blah, blah." He's going to put some kind of tester deal, whatever. And I was like, "Nope." And he's like, "What?" I was like, "I mean,
nope.
we can try. It's not going to happen, dude. It only cranks with a jump and battery's dead too, blah, blah, blah." And he goes to crank it and he's with the mechanical ear. It's like, yeah, battery's an issue, but also sounds like the alternator's going and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, still want it, right? Like, but,
Right.
so anyways, you know, uh, I don't sit on problems too long. I just first solution that pops into my head, I usually run with. And, the easiest fix to my problem was, it's only in my head, I'm like, this is only 4 or 5 miles away. I'll just run back home and get another vehicle, drive back up here, pick up said cash and title stuff that I need, and then I'll be on my way. So I literally, dude, he looked at me. I mean, he already knows I've dealt with this guy several times. He bought Aubrey's old car off of us, and he's a good dude. And because of our past meetings, and he replaced the whole front end of that truck because I took it up there one time. It was making a noise, and he's like, "Dude, you were one left turn away from losing both front tires, and you're I apparently broke all the shocks and whatever." So he knew what he was getting, but
Jeez.
uh,
Yeah.
he also knows that I'm documented like half crazy, and so I looked at him and I pulled out my phone. I mapped it real quick, and I was like, "Oh, dude, this is 4 point something something miles back to my house. So I'll be back in as long as like nothing wild happens. I should be back in like 46 minutes. Like I can make this. Is that cool?" And he was just staring at me like, "The hell's wrong with you?" You know? And I was like, "I'm also gonna ditch my shirt because it's hot, and I'm just gonna leave it on the back of one of these cars. I'll get it when I get back." And he's like, "Whatever, man. Well, we'll see you when we see you." And so I took off. I start running, and I'm only telling all this to say that, like, initially, because I've been trying out these new carbon fiber insoles. They're called Victory insoles, and the bottom of the insole is it's actual carbon fiber, and so they're running on diving boards, right? And it's a performance tool that you can use, and I get asked about all this stuff, so I use it so I can speak to it, and it gets me a higher box jump, makes me look cooler.
Mhm.
But I've been going through the break-in process of these insoles, and so my feet, bro, my feet hurt. They're like a couple of days shy from like a problem if I didn't come out of them. And I've had plantar fasciitis
Mhm.
before, and it takes forever to get rid of. It sucks. And I was like, "Ooh, can feel that like trying to come back on. I'm gonna stop training in these for a minute." And so part of that is like people don't realize what a high impact running is. Uh, and so I start running back to the house, dude. And I think I'm also 40 something. So it takes me the first mile to like loosen up and actually run. And, so I'm starting to run and I'm thinking to myself, dude, like, I'm an idiot. Like this, I probably could have just made a few adjustments and made this so much easier on myself. And I'm sitting there just starting to kind of not really get down on myself, but more or less just like reevaluate. Like, you know, there's adjustments I could have made this morning and things I could have shifted. It would have made this more efficient, right? Instead of just like getting tasks done. And I'm sitting there contemplating all this and pretty much just bitching in my own head, right? And then my wife calls me and tells me this news about our buddy.
Hold on, before you
And
get into that, I gotta at least know, did like calling an Uber even cross your mind, or like, I feel like most normal people these days would have whipped out the phone and be like, "Oh, dude, I just hit this button here. Somebody will give me a ride, and I'll be home in 5 minutes."
Oh my gosh, dude, no, not once, no.
All right.
And there's Lyft too. Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't even have those apps.
Pick your choice.
Yeah, so I don't. Yeah. Well, again, dude, I'm from Alabama, dude. Nah, that's that city stuff, y'all know, dude. Like, I didn't even see my first cab.
You pulled out
till
the
I was,
Forrest
like,
Gump, man.
Yeah,
I just
I did, dude. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
But sorry, so Kim
so
calls you while mid's running, right?
yes. So she calls me, and I'm only the first mile in. In fact, my watch had just told me the pace that I was at. And I was thinking like, oh God, dude, I got to step it up or this dude's going to be pissed. I'm not going to make her agree and return, whatever. And Kim calls and tells me, and I immediately, dude, like I didn't say anything to her, but immediately in my head, I'm like, what am I complaining about? Like for me, again, dude, like I always say, dude, you pulling that microscope back and looking at the big picture. And I was like, yo, I still have 2 very capable functioning legs, and should be thankful that I can feel foot pain, and I honestly, I thought about that immediately. And then oddly enough, dude, my second thought was, I just went to Home Depot the day before, and there's a guy getting out of pickup truck, contractor type too, so good on him. But he's getting out of the pickup truck, and he's a straight Florida man, dude, barefoot. I was about to, trying to fish out some flip-flops from the bed of his truck to go inside the store, and I did a double take and realized that one of his bare feet, that was actually the shape of a bare foot, was prosthetic. You really only have one leg, and it but 2 bare feet on the floor. And so then that was like the thought that followed up behind that. And I was thinking like, hell, that guy don't even have both feet, and our buddy's not here like at all. And only a couple of years older than I am, And so, yeah, it was just a real sobering moment about like, and a good reminder that I would say oftentimes that, our problems aren't really problems, they're just inconvenience.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, 100%.
and so then, I got off the phone with her and I started making the phone calls, which probably annoying to most people, because, I called you on like mile 2 trying to carry on the conversation, but I knew it was just, you got to do it. Like, you got to have those conversations and talks. And I would say more importantly, so, it is a in your face, shoved down your throat reminder that like, dude, everyone is going through something, and more times than not, you're talking to someone who is very quietly and internally dealing with their own train wreck, right? Like, and sometimes, probably more times than we know, it's the person that we're venting to, and they're, in their own head thinking like, shit, you ain't got problems. I could tell you some problems,
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. So, yeah, I mean, that's how I found out when you had given me that call. And when you first started talking, I'm like, is this dude, like, what? you know, you hear cars going by, you know, honking. I'm like, are you okay?
Yeah.
You know, what is going on here? But then I was like, oh snap, like, you
Yeah.
know, so you start to think, and one of the things like when I was just having lunch with Chris a couple weeks back, I thought it was a really cool thing, you know, like all these guys, we can go 5, 7, 10 years not see each other and then, you know, link up again and pick up like we never left off. And, you know, when I originally thought about that, I thought that was like a cool thing. Like you know, it says a lot, but at the same time, it's like, dang, man, when's the last time I reached out to him and had a conversation? And it's almost like, you know, maybe that's not such a good thing that I rely on that of like, oh, it's all good. You know, the time will go by and we'll just pick up like we never left off. Like, is there somebody out there that, you know, you should be reaching out to, keeping that stuff alive and connecting with folks, man? Because you
Dude,
never
I'll
know
tell
when
you
it's, you
this.
know, going to be
One
that
of
time
my
or like you hear that.
No, 100%, dude. And I'll say this too, man. Dude, you are nowhere alone in that. I think everybody, I do that too. But I had this one of my coworkers, dude. I've talked about her before on here. Bailey Jewel, uh, stud, just a awesome human being, dude. And me and her got to go through a lot of suck together. Actual deployments, the Beirut bombing, we were both at the training exercises that were just brutal. Dude, we were at this one class, and they ended up partnering us together, and it's basically like lock picking, how to steal cars, kind of thing, right? And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you have this like culminating exercise at the end, right? It's like you're doing all these like big training things. You know, hey, show us what you learned, kind of thing, practical. And
Right.
so we had these objectives, these missions, we you know, tasks we had to hit, and then we had to use our, you know, newfound skills to meet these objectives. One of which was commandeering a vehicle and going to this checkpoint, like, dude, like an hour away. And so you can't just take any old thing.
Oh, man.
Yeah. You need something, you know, partly reliable, but also something that meets your skill set. And so we end up with this beater little pickup, dude. And we hop in, start driving, and immediately realize, like, this thing's in bad shape. Dude, I don't know how much gasoline we inhaled, but the whole cab, like at one point we were giggling because we were just straight stoned, like inhaling these fumes. And I'm not, there's no joke about this. We had the windows all the way down, trying head kind of halfway out the window, trying to get some actual oxygen in our lungs. It was brutal, which I mean, like ended in a massive headache by the time we finally got where we were supposed to be. But so we've been through some trying times together, and when you do that, dude, you know this. There's just like a deeper bond when you're going through like crap with people. Like when you experience trauma or just
Yeah.
uncomfortable with someone, like it does. It's a stronger relationship there. And she was telling me one time, she's always she reminds me of my daughter, dude. Just everyone's favorite cheerleader, you know. She's always hyping people up, always just nothing but positive. Even when I know, like, oh, you're having a crap day. Like, she does her best to not let that show, and never the Karen or negative Nancy, you know. And I appreciate that because I know being a strength coach, I know the effort that takes, and it's hard to turn it on all the
Right.
time. And
Mm.
we were having this, not this exact conversation, but like what me and you are talking about right now, right? Like trying to keep those doorways open, and I too, I feel just like you. There's something about the relationships that we build, and I think it directly correlates with the work, that we do. That, like you said, dude, if me and you didn't speak for the next 3 years after tonight, and it would be like, hey, episode 11, blah blah blah, and it yeah,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
we it is. It's normal. And there's no like love loss or anything. It's just right back to, hey, what's up? And but she told me something that I found, it might not be for people listening, but I thought was profound in a sense. And it just, me, dude, I'm a big common sense wins. And to me, if it's freaking 100% logical and just passes the good old common sense test, then I'm all about it. Like I don't even. It could be
Mm-hmm.
breaking 7, 8 laws. I don't care if it makes sense. Like I'm doing that.
Yeah.
You know. Uh, and she told me,
Mm-hmm.
she was like, there's one thing that I think, just we as people in general kind of fail on. And she's like, and I like consciously make it an effort uh to do this. She was like, we always think about our friends like more than they'll ever know, because we think about them, and even if it's something significant or something that they taught us or something, we have the thought, and then we let life back in, and it passes by. And she's like, I am super conscious about when I have a thought about a friend of mine or a mentor or someone that has impacted me in a positive way, that I at least right then and there, if it's just a quick, like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm thinking of you text, like that, she's like, boom. She's
Mm-hmm.
like, because, and I realize, for, this is all situation dependent and all that. Like, I get there's so many variables that can come with this and stuff. Uh, but at some point too, people also got to remember, like, are there so many variables, or are you making excuses for yourself? Because we
Mm.
do have the technology. We can microphone text, and we can tell robots to say it for us. And so since I met her, dude, I've really tried to adopt this myself. And I don't get it right every day, but I get it right more than I used to where now, if it
Mm-hmm.
crosses my mind, dude, at a minimum, I try to at least shoot a text message. It's like, hey man, what's up? I was thinking about you. And sometimes, dude, I mean, you heard my schedule today, dude. Sometimes it gets pretty rabid for me, right? Like, it's all over the place. And so I will shoot that to someone. Sounds terrible, dude. But I will blast that off to someone just so I know that they know. Like, hey man, you just went through my memory bank. Uh, and me, I try to leave little because I'm Southern, I try to put some terms of endearment in there, and I'm like, miss your face. Uh and they'll text me back, and I might not get back to that text they sent for a couple of days. Just because, again, like, the gas pedal's down, and the world's spinning, despite our best efforts to feel like we control which way that happens. Uh
You know
and
what? I
so
think maybe
uh
maybe we need to formalize some kind of protocol around that. That's just let's normalize that, because that's always my biggest fear. It's like I'm gonna say what's up to you now, and then I'm not gonna have time to like catch up with you when you respond back to me. Like I just got this brief, but maybe if it was more normal of like, oh cool, like he said that, whatever. Like I don't feel like I'm obligated to write you a book back about because I feel like that too, and or it's like I'm up at 4 in the morning. I remembered this time, like, and I'm like, shit, no, I'm not gonna text him at 4 in the morning or something like that. But I feel like, or if it,
yeah,
something like that Marco Polo, where it's like you can fire and forget, and it might be four
I
or five
love
days
that.
before you crack it open, and
I love that.
but yeah, it's like
Yes.
text. I don't know. We're so ingrained to feel like you get a text, like you got to respond to it, but maybe that's a
Right.
takeaway. Something I might try out. Just like let's just start firing these things off and whatever. I might not respond to you, but at least you crossed my mind for a second.
No, yeah, no, I agree with you, dude. Like, I think there should be like, now I like the the formalizing it idea perfect. I think it should just be like a code word that's like, I know exactly what we don't need to get into any conversation. I know exactly what you meant.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm appreciative. And then we're back to like, where the hell are our kids? You know?
Right.
But,
Yeah.
because dude,
Yeah.
and you're on to something. 'Cause I'm dead serious because yeah, especially, and I think even more so this relates with you and me because I think, well, I don't think, I know from my experience, we're like oddly close to our family, you know?
Yeah. Right.
Like, if you didn't know that, dude, you are oddly close to your family. Like,
Yeah. No. Yeah. For sure.
no, yeah, for sure. It's 1,000% for sure. When I came in the military, dude, and I told someone that I talked to my mom at least once every day, they thought I was crazy, dude. They're like, "You speak to your mom every day?" I was like,
Dude, I
"Yeah,
didn't.
or she'll shoot me."
And that's where I realized until I joined the military and saw like other people, I'm like, oh, you guys, it was mainly like in basic, and I had all these people calling me, or when I got to my first duty station, and like the whole family came down, people are like, you know, all your family, like, so that's when it really became.
Yeah, yeah.
I came back home and was just like, guys, like to my cousins and my brother, yet who was still home, like, not everybody has like what we have, and like really appreciate it, and um, but yeah, sometimes almost goes full circle back, like, talking about our buddy here. So you don't realize that what you have. You take everything for granted until you see what you got there. Like you're complaining about your feet, you zoom out. Same thing with the family thing. Until you zoom out and realize what most people
Yes.
have on a daily basis, so I feel like I'm rarely super
Well, and
grateful. Like, no, go ahead.
no, I wanna hear this completed thought because I
I,
already
I was gonna
disagree with where that
say,
was going, but go ahead.
yeah, I think it was coming out wrong. So I think I'm abnormally grateful and present about like realizing what I have versus, I mean, a lot of people say, the hashtag like too blessed to be stressed and all that crap. Like I seriously, I mean, almost every day, that's like a ritual I have. Like, holy cow! I mean, I woke up today. My kids are healthy. Like, holy shit! I just lost my grandpa, so like that mortality piece is very fresh in my head. And now it's here we are. I'm not even left
Mhm.
Q1 yet. Already, lost my grandpa. Now I just lost a buddy. It's like with so much loss, I think you do start to. Um, and I feel like it doesn't hit a lot of people until like the older they get in life and they realize they're probably closer to the end. I don't know why I've always been more fortunate to be present and have those thoughts like, hey, this is a short ride, and I realize that
Yeah.
I'm lucky to be here and happy with that. But I don't know. I don't know if that going where
Yeah,
you thought
and
it was gonna go.
well, you changed it. You changed it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
that
came
is
out
not
wrong.
what
Yeah.
it, at least that's not. Yeah, because I was about to say, like, no, I see something totally different. Foster just texted me. Uh, all right. I have to address that later. Uh, but that's our old commander. Everyone is we're all going through this live. But dude, no.
You know what?
So
Speaking of Foster,
going,
real quick, real
go
quick,
ahead.
we're on like a delay here. It feels like. Um, I was actually gonna say when you called me earlier and you were talking about, man, I gotta make the calls, I gotta do this. It's not fun, but dude, that Foster, he's like cemented the phrase in my head. Like if you said in the civilian world, whatever, it was just so true. But he's always said like, and his was more pertaining to like, we go out on these mission trips and you do something stupid, call me right away. Like, and his famous phrase is like, bad news doesn't get better with time. Like, and it's
Facts.
the same thing. You do something that sucks, like thing like you have to make these calls. It's not going to be any funner to make this evening than it is right now. So just do the hard thing, and that's how I've
Yeah.
internalized that. And I've always credited that back to him. Like, man, that's a powerful phrase and can almost be relevant to all parts of life. But anything you got to do that
It
sucks, or
totally
tell
is.
somebody bad news, or whatever it is, just get it over with, man. Because it ain't gonna be
Yeah.
no funner later. But
Yeah.
Sorry to
Your
interrupt you.
kid
Go
lying
ahead.
about that zero doesn't realize how it's going to affect their average if you can't fix it until the end of the semester.
Right.
Yes, I know how all that goes. It does work on several levels. Um, so no, I was trying to go back to the formalizing like you're talking about because uh
Mm.
another situation where I feel like this is happens consistently in my life, right, is like my grandmother, right? Like she'll reach out and
Mm.
she just because she's in a totally different season of life, you know? Like
Mm.
I think people in general like struggle with getting outside. I always say their own movie, you know? Everybody's the main character in their own movie,
Mm.
and I think it's very hard for people to step out and put themselves in someone else's shoes and literally stop for a second to try to perceive the world like this other person seeing it, right? Like really try to put it in full context
Mhm.
because it's totally hard to do. Because one, there's so many different layers in everyone's journey, life, personality. Like it's hard to do. But if if you stop for a second to even fictitiously like imagine what's going on, it will change the way you deliver things, right? To include is something as simple,
Mhm.
and I use this example all the time because I get most frustrated in my vehicle because no one understands what a passing lane is. Uh, but like, and my wife's always yelling at me because like I go, 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 you know, and some people are cautious, some people are aggressive, some people shouldn't be on the road at all. But like people will blow by us when we're in the car together, right? And because the way I drive and my wife's anxiety about it, I typically am in the passenger seat, and someone will blow by her and she'll go off, and I'm like, yeah, well, one, you're in the wrong lane. That's why that happened. And two, like you don't know what they're doing. Like, they might not be
Mhm.
a-holes. They might be responding to something. They might be, you know, or they might be an a-hole that is unimaginable to you, and they just whack somebody, and if you show them your favorite finger, they're gonna kill us all. Like, you don't know, right? And it's but, in most people's mind, they have just been wronged because they're in their car on
Mhm.
their world driving to do the tasks that only they can accomplish and only matter to them and nothing else is relevant or important. And you know what I mean? And no one,
Mhm.
everybody so easily gets lost. I mean, we're in the generation selfie. So everybody gets so easily lost in their own, and we're so big now on we've already talked about all these things on this show, dude. We're so big now on
Mhm.
how we define success, and what the correct path looks like to that, and the steps that you have to take to, you know what I mean, supposedly uh,
Mhm.
to considered as a successful person and whatever, right? And I think everybody gets so lost in their own journey, dude, that you never pull that microscope back out. You never take time to stop for a
Mhm.
second and even go like, "Hey, wait a minute. Is, you know, is this person just having a bad day?" And like, maybe I need to be a little slower to assess and judge and a little more just listen, right? Uh,
Mhm.
and so I think like if we rationalize or not rationalize, but formalize something like you're talking about, because my grandmother has zero context of like, dude, I just took this new big important position. Uh, I realize it's just another 2 o'clock in the afternoon for you, but I'm in the middle of a meeting. So I've ignored you 3 times. I'm sent you to voicemail. That's your heads up. Like I'm busy. Or she got upset with me a couple of weeks ago because we were in the movie and I had my phone off because I'm that guy. I hate, if I hear someone get a text message, like, I'm infuriated. And I'm like, why are we paying $100 to be here right now? Let's just wait till it comes out on Apple TV. Like, I hate this. Your kid's 8 months old. What are you doing here? Like,
Right. Yeah.
you saw the trailer. You knew they were gonna blow things up. Like, come on. You're a parent now. You have no life. So I wish. Do you know how cool that would be if I could communicate with her? If I could just send her like a brain emoji, like, hey, thinking about you. No need to.
Right.
No need to carry this on any further. Just
we need to get that trending. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, for real. Like that the brain emoji might be. That's our code right there, dude. If I send you a brain,
let's do it.
Like that is it. You're on my mind. I love you, miss you, and I'm avoiding the law.
Yeah. Dude, another thing where this could become very helpful, because I'm coming off my birthday was like last week, and you don't know because you don't have Facebook, but it's so like part of me, I hate to like complain about it, but 'cause I am grateful. I'm grateful for everybody that took the 2 seconds to put the canned message on my wall or whatever, but it's like, God, do you know how long it takes me to go through this whole page
and respond to all so
like
they
these,
don't
all these
feel
messages.
Like you left them out? Yes.
Yeah. Exactly, and it's like great. I was born, guys. I get it, man. Like you don't. I mean, it's a couple of my good friends. We do talk like twice a year on each other's birthday. I do enjoy that, but if I haven't seen you for 10 years and don't feel like you gotta write the canned message on there, because you're really just taking time out of my day to kind of like act like not be an asshole and go click something and feel like I gotta say something back. So we need to normalize some kind of nonverbal boom, half a second. We can hit the my go-to is the thumbs up, man. I'm like, I've acknowledged it, but I don't have time to write back all 100 of you. But it's just, I don't know, maybe birthday's never really been, it's like once you hit 21, what are we talking about here?
Oh, dude, for me, I think it was, my mom's never going to listen to this, dude. So I don't have to, I didn't want to get her pissed off. Cause she told me, I'm giving you a birthday party and da-da-da-da. Bro, I think I know for a fact, if she does hear this, I know for a fact after 13, it was like, what, aren't you tall enough to push this lawnmower? We don't have time for party. We got work to do. Like, you know what I mean? And then I don't want to get on this. I'm going to get on this soapbox for just a second. And all of that too, dude, goes back to, this is a huge soapbox for me. We could do a whole episode about this. But like, I don't know why we hang these, I don't know why we hang these things on ourselves, dude. One, if it's my son's birthday party, I feel no need to buy all his friends that are coming little party bag gifts for showing up to whoever started that. I hate that person. I also don't understand why Christmas rolls around and I need to send you a card of my family in case you forgot all the people I produced, and then make sure that it's the most perfect picture, maybe throwing a vacation photo on the back so everybody knows that we're living successfully and we have figured out life, and we're still all together. And basically a freeze frame Instagram shot that I want to send out to everybody I've ever met so they know, like, hey, not only were we thinking about you, but let me rub this in and like we're doing good too on top of that. Hope, which by the way, every Merry Christmas comes with at least 3 deaths. Someone always passes on the holidays, and it's a terrible day for someone, right? But yet and still, we feel this. Someone created this trend that, like, and if you're successful, your card better not be off no e-card print, that it needs to be like from Hallmark with some gold trim, and you need to have spent at least $300 on these cards to get them out to everybody. So, me and the kids thinking about you. No, we weren't. I was thinking about how much my credit cards racked up for this thing that like I've been giving them gifts all year. Now I got to double it. Like, no. So yeah, no, I'm right there
Yeah, it's
with you,
really
dude.
the husband's probably in there like, dude, and this list keeps growing. Why do I keep got to stuff these mailers?
Yes.
Putting all these stamps on these damn cards, sending out to God knows who.
Correct. And
Yeah.
then when everybody
No,
does it to
that's
you,
so funny to me because of
same thing. Because your wife hits you with the same thing my wife does. Hey, how many people gave us? I got to write thank
oh
yous.
gosh.
We need to send the thank yous back to each. Seriously?
Oh gosh, that's the worst.
Yes. And it's
Who invented thank you cards for that crap anyway, dude? That's another one.
Do you know this? I'll tell you who, dude. It's the same chucklehead that a 9/11 happened, and in the same day, someone was turning a profit on the T-shirt. The same day that someone had already made up the never
Yep, you're
forget
right.
slogan came out like that, dude. And that's where all these crazy ideas come from, dude, because everybody's just trying to turn a profit, you know? And that's it, dude. It's the same thing it always
good
is.
call.
It's
Yeah.
stupid dollar, dude. That piece of paper that we made valuable. That by way of chopping down all the trees that actually provide us oxygen to stay alive on this revolving rock. But whatever.
Dude, no, but we go to this senior party or whatever you call it. So you go and give this guy a gift, it's like he's getting ready to start his journey in life. You give him a gift or a wedding gift. You go give this young couple, hey, happy here's go start your life. And now you make these poor young kids sit down after this long party and like get hand cramps writing all these people back the same sentence. It's like, what are we doing here besides, to your point, paying Mr. Hallmark for his blank cards to postmark to everybody? It's ridiculous.
But yeah, dude. So I get completely bent out of shape about things like this, dude, because there's nothing more real than what just happened. And I can tell you, dude, that like our buddy, his family, all that BS, these cards and stuff, the last thing they'll ever think about. Right? Like because the reality is, dude, it doesn't matter. And I'm not trying to, it's just like, it's like Facebook, dude. Like the original intent is brilliant. The purpose of it makes total sense. But you let people get involved and it morphs into what it does. But and I just, and I'll say this, like, dude, I'm on the other side of the hill. Like, I know that. Like I'm already halfway done with this. You know what I mean? And that's if I'm even more halfway done with it if I go out the way I want to. Like, because I can tell you, dude, that I in no way, shape, or form want to turn back into a baby. The first time Kim or one of my kids brings me a pack of diapers for me, I'm going to find a grizzly bear and I'm gonna punch him as hard as I can in the face. Like, we're gonna, and hopefully I don't win. I'm gonna give it all I got, but yeah, dude, no, man. I think what I'm trying to get at with this is like, get off this BS of like, it's the same as Instagram, dude. I run one Instagram account. I got rid of my personal account because I hate it, right? And I'm not that good at it, and I don't like things I'm not good at. And so I run my work one that I actually can't wait. I'm done dual hatting April 4th. I've determined it's like where I gotta get all the way committed on this other journey. I can't make time for anything else. And so I'll be closing that account down. And luckily, I think we have a person that manages the other work account.
Dude.
But same thing you just said. And this is a work account, but people know that like I'm the guy behind it. And so my birthday will roll around, dude, and all of a sudden I open this account, and these are like
Dude, I don't know everybody who has access to that thing because it's attached to a business.
Right.
But now I have 200
Right.
happy birthdays because it says ECT Performance birthday today, and I'm like,
Right.
I'm not, and people will exactly
Yeah.
what you said, dude. It'll be someone they're like 70 something, dude. I don't know this person, but then I'm at work and they're like, "Nah, you didn't say anything about my. Who are you?
Right.
Like, no,
It's
it
a mess,
is. And
dude.
I think,
But
real quick, and I'll be done. I think that, God, that's not the right way to say it. I was gonna say this is like a good reminder, and I don't want to in any way like water down, diminish, or sound disrespectful about this. Like, death is serious. I like an ER doc, dude. Like, I've stared at a lot of death, like a lot, especially with the one team I was on for a time. Like, it seemed like that's at one point it felt like that's just what we did, is we just grabbed people to watch them die in front of us, because I mean, you get so many holes in you. It's kind of inevitable, especially the lack of supplies. And so that kind of, it's like people that work in the NICU. Dude, you get desensitized
right.
to pretty gruesome things quickly. And so I've been yelled at before about, like, death, not taking it. Like, I do it different. I've just seen a lot of it, and for me, I've just very much accepted, like, hey, welcome to life. You're gonna die. No one gets out alive. Like, it's natural to me. Now, this early, not so much, but I've also, dude, my high school friends, there's one still alive, so, like, I'm used to that too. But I think this is, I don't want to say good reminder, but I think this is puts things in perspective, right? That like, hey man, this isn't like whatever you got planned, that's cool, and you strive for that. But also, like, in the middle of those plans, if you happen to think about someone, and especially, in a positive light, someone that's like impacted you in a helpful way, and it's hard, but I think we do have to do better as people to, send them a brain emoji and keep it moving. When they send you the question mark, you can get back to it later, but at least someone knows that you're thinking about them, even if they don't understand the why behind it. For some people, dude, depending on where that meets them at, could turn their whole day around, based on, I've texted people before, dude. I've had this happen, and nothing feels better than when this goes down, where I've texted someone just out of the blue, and I'm like, hey man, I was just thinking about you, and I just want to let you know, like, dude, you're a good egg, and, like, you're a positive influence on my life. I see you when I see you, talk to you when I can, and I've had people that almost instantly be like, whoop, and it's like, yo, I don't know why you sent this, but you had no idea how, like, I needed to hear this, and I needed to hear it now. And I was like, oh
man,
like, oh, and I'm like,
yeah,
hey, I'm doing this right now. If you need to talk, like, I'll carve out,
right, jeez,
like, and I honestly, dude, I was 2018, not till 2019. Someone's totally gonna laugh about this, dude, but yes, this is what I'm doing. So I was 37 years old, dude, when Bailey had said this to me, and I was just like, damn, like, she's spot on, dude. Because I mean, there's so many people, dude, and this is the sad truth of it all, dude, is especially if you move around like we did, there's so many people that you meet that impact you. You can't even remember all of them, you know? Dude, there's one dude that impacted my life immensely. I'll never be able to talk to that kid again, dude. Because, like, this kid doesn't have a phone. And I have this little African kid. His name's Casey. And just watching how this kid had nothing but everything at the same time. Just like you could not rain on this kid's parade, dude. And he had nothing but reasons to be pissed off. And it just like, dude, it hit me so hard that like this kid would literally come out when we were doing like a range day. This was in Africa. And we're out in the middle of, nowhere. And like, where was that place? Basaso, I think, something like that. But we're out there doing like shooting moving drills. And you know how anxious people get on the firing line, right?
Yeah.
And like Casey, dude, I don't even know, it's probably not even his real name. But Casey would be behind us, dude. He memorized all the drills that we were doing. So like if we made the wrong turn, he'd be like, oh crap. Yeah, dude, like he knew. And he even got so tight with us, dude. He'd like scold people like that were getting it wrong because it had to be right and in step because he's literally catching hot brass coming out of the gun round per round. Yeah, and just catch and pile up on his shirt, right? And then they go melt it down, make something, sell it, whatever. But like watching this kid's like enthusiasm, and dude, he was always in a pair of sharp jagged rocks on this like range, dude, and this kid's always in a pair of flip-flops that were 3 sizes too small, handed down clearly from his sisters because they were always pink and like it's stuff on them.
Oh man.
And dude, I just remember just being like, God, dude, just heard this grown man complaining earlier because we're out of hot water. This kid ain't even seen a shower. Like, and it just, it really, I think, hey, it's your boy, dude, so you better speak to him.
Where's that? I thought I was muted. I guess not. Yeah, they're coming in hot. But yeah.
But yeah, so like, I mean, I think it's something about us getting what we're just talking about, dude. Getting caught up in BS, like these stupid Christmas cards and gifts for other kids on your kid's birthday and all these like, keeping up with the Joneses BS. And that on top of getting lost in our own work lives and set goals. And kind of, dude, and this sounds a little like out of the Archimist playbook or something, but like getting caught up in the system, dude, and not remembering like there are other things that are tangible and real that matter way more that we just, it's in our face and their day to day. So we take it for granted,
Yeah. I think like you said, I mean, almost all of that comes down to like zoom out, when in doubt, zoom out and think, what am I doing here? Right. What am I, you know what I mean? Because you can get caught up in any, all these little things are systems, just like, so you brought the holiday cards, the card maker that came up with these things. Well, Facebook and all these social media, their whole goal is to get you to stay on there more, to interact. It's like everybody's trying to pull you into their system. So all these things, you just gotta like zoom out. What am I doing here? Who really matters? And I think to bring it full circle, how do I let them know they matter? And like, let's stay in touch. I need to send somebody a brain emoji. So we need to make that become a thing there. But in the interest of...
I'm doing that. And I'm going to start telling people when in doubt, zoom out. That's brilliant. God, dude, you're just...
Put it on a shirt, man.
I love
put it on a shirt. But no, man. Yeah, I think lots of phone calls coming in. Lots of little people coming into my space. So may go ahead and look towards wrapping this one up. Any cool stories? Cool short stories we got?
No, and I would just say that someone's going to be listening to this, right? And someone is, right? And even if it's one person, like someone's going to listen to this, and all this we've been talking about, why we've been talking about it, and even right now, real time, while someone's listening to this, they will have someone in mind. And I would empower you to pause this and just send them a brain. And like, I'm dead serious. You never know where other people are at and where you're meeting them at. And you also never know like how impactful it might be. And shoot them the brain, because it'll throw them off balance, and they'll be like, well, what in the hell is this about? And it'll just gen a conversation. Yeah, I would empower whoever's listening to this. Like, there's someone that popped in your mind. It might be someone that's on your last nerve, but most of the time it's just like a married couple, dude. Or fights aren't fights; they're just annoyance.
Yeah, to say it probably is that person that that probably needs it the most, and it's probably the best opportunity to do that, because if you're not
correct,
if you are fighting or going through it with somebody, it's probably the perfect time to shoot that brain over.
Life's short, dude, and hugs are easier than punches.
Facts. And I guess selfishly, if you did do that, or you got anything out of this, just throw a brain in the comments. We need some help on the help the podcast out. And bonus, if you know somebody who's caught up in the system, needs to zoom out a little bit, share this episode with them. Maybe they'll get something out of it to help their life. Hey, they might shoot you a brain back. That might be a win-win for you. So,
Agreed.
Final thoughts before we wrap this one up.
Happy belated birthday, dude.
Hey, damn it. Now I got to respond to this guy. No, I'm kidding. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, I would say, man, hug your little ones, hug the people close to you, reach out to somebody, let them know you love them. But with that, we'll catch y'all next time.